Alright everyone, welcome back to another Friday Night Magic tournament from Lost Legion Games and Comics in South Charleston, West Virginia. My name is Zachary Evans, and tonight we have a full house of commentators for you. I'm joined by both Ian Nolte, who you might remember from our cube drafting video, I think, 7 weeks ago? It's ill-fated. You can go back on YouTube and watch that hot mess. And then also by Joseph Messer, a former, you've played on camera before.
I played on camera twice and lost both times.
And I think both in somewhat dramatic fashion, too.
Very dramatic fashion, yes.
So if you want to go back to our first or second week of coverage, you can check these gentlemen out. We'll talk more with them later on as we come back to the studio. More importantly, let's talk about round one tonight. But most importantly, we have, gentlemen, 34 runners in this event. 3 more than we had last week, which was, this is close to record-setting numbers, I think. We've had, I think, close to 40 once before at the old shop.
Yeah, this is a large FNM in my opinion.
There are a lot of people here. This is almost everyone that I know that plays Magic in this area, so I'm very excited to see them all out. I would like to, I'm going to allow myself to think that this stream has maybe a little bit to do with getting the extra 1 or 2 people out here, but good to see that the Magic community is alive and thriving here in South Charleston. So let's talk about this matchup. Round 1, we will have 5 rounds tonight. This being the first round of Swiss, followed by top 8. On your left, Brett Rose. For faithful viewers, you are well aware of him, as he has both commentated and played on camera before. He was also the co-host of our West Virginia State Tournament coverage, so if you want to go back and check that out, you can get 10 rounds of Brett Rose action. Brett is playing Esper tokens, which I like to refer to as it's tokens in theme. It's probably halfway between an aggro, halfway between a mid-range deck and a control deck. Not the fastest deck in the world, but does come out of nowhere with its Midnight Hauntings, Lingering Souls, and Anthem effects. He is playing Joseph Deal, who you might be familiar with from last week. He was last week's winner of FNM with a Rakdos aggro deck. A very interesting deck. Lots of burn. Lots of aggressive creatures. He has the ones you expect, like Stromkirk Noble and Vexing. Rakdos Cackler, is that what it was called?
Am I mistaken, or are both? Did both of them just take a mulligan?
Yeah, they're both on 6. Yeah. That's a good point. We are both down to 6. Looks like Brett won the die roll. More importantly, he won the game of rock paper scissors. As we see a 1-drop lead off from Joseph. Joseph's deck is very aggressive, but like I said, it has some very interesting choices. He's playing Stone Rights. He's playing, as we see, a Stone Right. Stone Right's a very interesting choice because it basically has, in this case, it has 1 power with haste, the way it works. As I've butchered the life totals here. No, I had it right.
Yeah, that was right. He
led off. Blood Crypt.
Yeah, he led off with the Blood Crypt. So
we got there eventually. But this is one of those classic games where Brett will be the Joseph is the beat down, and Brett will have to morph into slightly morph into a control deck.
Now these guys have been playing these decks for. I think Brett's been playing this pretty much since rotation, right?
Yeah, he's been on this Esper tokens list since Return of Ravnica came out. He was playing junk tokens beforehand. He actually won. I think not the last FNM, but the one prior to that, before rotation, with his junk tokens deck. He lost a lot of pieces out of that, and so now he's on the Esper plan. You see a Pillar take out 1 token, and I think he's pumping once there. Yeah, and Joseph has been playing this. I think the first week after rotation he was on Bant aggro. And then I don't think he cared for that.
Yeah, I think he's been playing this deck since States.
He played it at States.
Yeah, and at the Invitational Qualifier.
Yeah, he top 8'd that. Lost in the quarterfinals, but did top 8. So I will have access to his deck list if anyone is interested in that. It'll be in the description of the in the comments, or the description portion of the YouTube video when I post it. And then I can post that. There's also a link to all of those deck lists on our Facebook page. We'll get more into that later. More importantly, we see Soren Lord of Innistrad come down for Brett, which will make a shapeshifter token, I think that is. But a token's a token.
Yeah, as long as someone gets the idea.
Someone's phone is going nuts out there.
Yeah.
This is reminding me that I need to turn off my own phone.
Yeah.
Luckily, everyone that would call me is currently in the store playing Magic cards. So we see a Morbid Brimstone Volley from Joseph. He does have the burn in this deck to seal the deal.
Yeah, Joseph looks like he's in bad shape. I don't know. Think he can do 7 more?
Yeah, I'm trying to see what's in his hand.
He's got, what, 3 or 4 cards in hand?
He's got another Brimstone Volley. We see Midnight Haunting come down, and they back half the Lingering Souls. So it's a pretty clear race situation. It'll be interesting to see if he minuses Sorn here, because he'll gain 2 life off the... Oh wait, did Joseph kill the... Did he kill the lifelinker?
Yes, he did. He attacked and blocked his stone right.
Mm-hmm. So we see 1 emblem there, dropping Joseph to 14. Can he burn Brett out from here? Brett can win next turn with another Anthem. Pillar drops him to 5. Did he pillar him?
Was it an end of turn pillar? Did he have an untapped
He
land?
can't do that.
No, that's right. That's right.
Oh, it's moot now.
So they're coming to the understanding that
Yeah.
while the game is not necessarily over, Brett is going to swing in
yeah.
with 2 Sorin's emblems, 4 creatures, and activate his Vault of the Archangel. So much like every week, we've picked a good match, and it will inevitably result in a 10-minute
10-minute first round. Yeah.
and then I'll have to go out and find somebody else. But that usually doesn't tend to be a problem. We did run into some problems like that at States and at the Star City Games event. On the bigger event, it's much more difficult to go out into the field and pull someone who's involved in their match and make them switch tables and whatnot. At the FNM level, I could basically make them do whatever and threaten to kick them out if I want to. We have no shortage of people who are more than willing to play on camera. So.
You guys have seen these decks before. Any thoughts on their sideboarding strategy here?
I don't know what's in... I could bring it up, actually, what's in Joseph's sideboard. I won't, because it's a lot of work. But he has... his Knight of Glories are main. He has... I could bring it up here. Let's see how much work that would be to bring it up. What his deck list is. I'm not sure what's in... There we go. I'm not sure what's in Brett's sideboard. So, did you see what he was pulling out there?
No,
Maybe when he flips them back up, we can see.
Someone just yelled for you in the other room?
I know.
Some sort of Zachary Evans-related emergency happening in the other room?
I know. I don't... Somebody's gonna pound into that door, so I apologize for the... so let's look. I did have Joseph's deck list up here, which I said you can go to facebook.com/ZachSellsMagic. There is a link to our Star City Games Invitational Qualifier.
I guess the Thundermaw Hellkites are a good bet.
Yeah, he has 2 Thundermaw Hellkites. He's playing 24 lands? Yeah, he's playing a full... No, 10... He's playing 24 lands.
Yeah.
He's playing 2 Zealous Conscripts main. It's not a... he's playing 4 Falcon Wrath Aristocrats. It's not a slide deck. It's not a all-in red kind of thing. It's a little bit more mid-range than you're used to in these beatdown decks.
The Mizzing Mortars would also probably come in.
Mortars would probably come in. Sever maybe. I mean, I don't know how much he wants to turn his deck into like the control.
Yeah.
But his 2 Rakdos Charm actually very relevant here. The third and often and least used mode, I would think, of where you get ping for every creature you have.
That would have come very close to winning the game. That last game.
I would imagine he is going to take out his conscripts for Thundermaw Hellkites. That seems like a perfect 1-for-1. The conscript's not doing anything in this game.
Yeah.
And then it's just a matter of he'd probably take out his Pillar of Flames for more effective removal spells.
What's Red up to? What's he want to do? He wants.
I don't know. I don't know what's in his sideboard. If it goes to game 3, we'll try and dig it up and see what he had in his board. Usually I try to watch what's going on there, but did not see.
definitely wants
And I'll have to admit, I'm very curious as to why someone was yelling my name out in the main gaming area.
But they have stopped. So.
They have stopped, so it's not that. But I guess it's not that pressing.
I guess Brett, his main strategy is to be to manage his life total because
Yeah.
that last game he was in a pretty dominating position, but he was still very precarious.
We've seen this out of. We had a Esper tokens deck on the States coverage a few weeks ago, and it did the same kind of thing. These decks can come out of nowhere because of the Anthem effect and because of the card advantage of the Lingering Souls and Midnight Haunting. You can easily go from having no creatures on board to 2 turns later just beating them.
Yeah.
I don't think Brett is playing favorable wins, but a lot of these Esper tokens decks play a couple copies of favorable wins as their 5th and 6th Anthem. This is probably the nuts out of.
Double Cackler, both unleashed.
Yeah.
So.
Let's haven't talked to him in a while.
So Brett not doing anything super productive other than. Azorius Charm's going to buy him a lot of time, actually. That Knight of Infamy. Joseph plays 4 Knight of Infamy in his main deck, so. It's not a card that Brett's going to want to see. His Detention Spheres, his Azorius Charms, and almost all of his creatures cannot block it. So I guess he's lining up what he wants to do attack-wise. Seems pretty obvious. Gets in there for 6. I think he was considering whether there was some exalted play that he could do. I don't know if he's playing Supreme Verdict. I don't think he would in a token-based deck, as we see in End of Turn, Midnight Haunting. But it would be the best Supreme Verdict in the world if he could cast it right here.
Some people like him in their tokens decks. In my junk token deck before rotation, I ran 2 main deck and 2 in the side because my thought on that was always, let's see who recovers quicker. You know?
Yeah, I mean you do have a lot of card advantage. You are playing 2-for-1s and 4-for-1s. What is that? That's a Dragskull Captain. So he's playing Lords. So now all of his guys are +1/+1 with Hexproof, right?
Yes.
Joseph almost. I don't know what. I think you just pile in here and then just use all your burn spells to the face, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that captain's. I don't really think that captain's of necessity. Because he can't block the. If you wanted to be real particular about it, you just attack with the Knight, get him for 3, Spear gets him for another 3, and then you've got, 11 outs in the deck that would burn him. So he's going to take out the captain. And then pile in with everyone.
That saves his guys.
Mm-hmm. Well, he can trade with the Stromkirks, which he probably should.
Yeah.
He's making a joke. Brett does not care for the joke. And takes 6. So Brett's likely dead unless he can gain some life this turn. Joseph only has 1 card left in his hand. Cannot see what it is. He has cleverly navigated it such that only he can see it.
The look on his face, he doesn't look like he's too happy with it. So
Brett going all the way down to 1. So let's see what this 5 drop is.
What was that 1 mana?
Midnight Haunting, and then flashback the. Is he flashing back Lingering Souls?
Yeah.
He just dies because the Knight of Glory can't be blocked. Yeah,
there's nothing he could do.
He put that together. Yeah. So
we do have a match of it.
We are going to a game 3. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and you see Brett resolved the front and the back half of Lingering Souls and Midnight Haunting. I mean, he has plenty of business to slow down the aggro. Joseph's deck is very creature heavy. I mean, it has burn, but there are a lot of creatures in it. Brett can clog up the board very well, but it's tough to beat 3 1-drops in the first 2 turns, all that have 2 power basically. And the pro-white guy, like I said, those are in game 1. I mean, Brett's just somewhat lucky that he didn't have to deal with them in round 1. Well, while they shuffle up, and we'll use this opportunity to thank our de facto sponsor, Lost Legion Games and Comics, located in beautiful downtown South Charleston, West Virginia. I always say specify to say South Charleston, because technically we are in South Charleston, as opposed to Charleston. But then I realized like nobody knows where either of those places are, so it's not like it really matters. Yes, West Virginia is a state. We are not in the western portion of Virginia. We are not located near Roanoke, Richmond, or Blacksburg. But yeah, thanks to Lost Legion for letting us hijack their FNM and broadcast from their broom closet. Every week, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Stream goes live. Twitch.tv/ZachSellsMagic is the place to go. Lost Legion, 4 locations now. South Charleston, Parkersburg, Beckley, and Princeton, West Virginia. So if you are local or regional, definitely check them out. Go to their website at lostlegiongames.com for a calendar of events. Like I said 2 weeks ago, we had the Star City Games Invitational Qualifier. Fairly lucrative event, awarding $250 cash to the winner, as well as invitations to the Invitational. So you'll definitely want to stay tuned for more events from Lost Legion.
How many players did that draw?
It drew 25, not nearly as much as we would like, down from the previous year, but there were, I think in future years we can definitely get the word out a little bit better. Last year it drew over 40.
Oh.
So the Exalted Knight, another one of those creatures that has virtual haste. Not exactly haste. I'm wondering how many cards in Brett's deck actually deal with the Knight. Because all of his tokens are white.
Yeah, I haven't seen any, I don't think, so far.
The Sorin will make a black vampire token.
Yeah.
He's just going to chump out there. He could... yeah. Just going to chump out and hope to catch up, I guess. I think the most important card in this matchup is Vault of the Archangel. If Brett can get to 5 mana and a critical mass of guys, just gaining 3 or 4 life a turn is pretty relevant.
Yeah.
And while he's under a lot of pressure, he's not actually taken a lot of damage yet.
It is turn 4, so, and he's still at 18.
Mm-hmm. I like his block too. So I think he put that...
I think blocking is what he really wants to be doing at this stage in the game.
Mm-hmm.
He wants the game to go long.
Mm-hmm. Aristocrats there. Seems very good.
No way.
I would not complain in that situation. So he serves with everybody. He's tapped out, so no shenanigans. Obviously one of them is going on the Aristocrat. And then what does he want to do? He could double block the Aristocrat and likely ensure that it survives, because I don't think Joseph is going to sack 2 creatures to it, but may not be an issue. He's taken 5 here.
He could sacrifice his human and make it indestructible, correct?
Yeah, I'm not sure he wants to get rid of that pro-white knight, though.
That's pretty...
If he's going to get rid of anything, it would be probably the Stromkirk that's got blocked. The Stromkirk is not really useful at this point. Did you say 26 minutes?
Yeah.
Good grief. My clock was a little ambitious.
Mm-hmm.
I just started whenever the players sat down. So we either have to find a third match or talk a lot about magic cards for 20 minutes.
Talking about the Aristocrat works differently than I thought. The human is for the +1/+1 counter. You can sacrifice any creature and make it indestructible.
You can sack anything to save it, but it only pumps itself if it was a human. And there's no way he's going to sack that. There's no way he's going to sack that Knight of Infamy.
Yeah, in the stream, Cliff doesn't seem to think we should have messed with the time. We should have just left it, but
try to be as accurate as possible.
Yeah.
Not that it matters. It's more for my own reference to figure out how much dead time I'm going to have to try and fill with content here. I can't see. Have you all seen what's in Brett's hand? So Detention Sphere takes out the Aristocrat, which is for all intents and purposes is a hard removal spell because Joseph doesn't have any way of dealing with the the enchantment. So Brett's choosing to get in there, so to speak.
Brent is still at a relatively high life total.
Yeah, but he can go. Another aristocrat, morbid trigger on a brimstone volley. He can go down very quickly. But these aristocrats are not nearly as good as they could be in other matchups because their evasiveness is not relevant when Brett has infinite.
Yeah.
Yep. So same trick, just takes the 2 this time. So Brett gets to untap, and he's got 1 lingering soul in the yard. He's on a slow 4-turn clock, or he's on a slow, well, it could be 4-turn clock, but at this pace, 6-turn clock from the pro White Knight. Again, I don't have his list, but I'm not sure what cards in his deck can deal with that. All of his removal is white. Most of his creatures are white, but more importantly, there is the Vault of the Archangel.
So is his black splash specifically for the buyback on the lingering souls in the vault?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Because I've noticed a few of the Esper lists have been dropping in a few, just a few random black and red. Like the one that I have built has ultimate price, and
so he's serving in here for 6. Very aggressive. Dropping. I must have missed some life change there. I think he's representing Midnight Haunting here. I don't know if he has it or not. The fact that he didn't flash back his Lingering Souls means he probably has a Midnight Haunting or some kind of counterspell. Yeah. Look at me. I'm like an oracle. So same blocks again. So he's going to sack his freshly cast Stromkirk. Save his Falcon Wrath. Takes the same 2 like he's been taking the last few turns from the Knight of Infamy. But at this point, he's just going to swing in, activate Volt, and there's no way Joseph can come back from that. Because he's going to gain, each of the tokens are 2/2s, the captain is 2/2s, he's going to gain 8 life, go back up to 18.
Yeah, then the race is hugely in his favor.
Well, I mean, if he can come up with 1 more point of power, he could just win the game. I mean, Joseph is at
9, so...
So far, the best removal spell in Brett's deck has been Falcon Wrath Aristocrat.
Yeah. Well, like I said, that Falcon Wrath is amazing in most matchups, but against Brett, not nearly as good. We do see Styncia Bloodhall from Joseph, which is a interesting alternate win condition. But more importantly, we see
that is a match.
A scoop phase, as Joseph's Rakdos aggro deck could not get there. I'm going to take a very brief break, guys. Please do not step away. I'm going to go try and find you another match, since we do have 20 minutes left. But we will be back shortly, one way or the other. Alright, we are back, and I have inconvenienced some gentlemen and made them move so that you can see their Game 3. So on the left, Billy Maynor. Good to see Billy. Billy doesn't usually make it down for Friday Magic. He's from Ripley. Usually see him at the pre-release events, not too often at FNM, but he is playing a Bant deck, he said. I think it's a Populate kind of Populate mechanic based. He's playing against Stream regular Joe Lewis, who is playing a green-white mid-range deck. Last week Joe was playing Bant Control, which is an interesting archetype as well, and I think he's probably just taking out the counterspells and supreme verdicts and just playing the same pile of good stuff.
Stream is asking about audio. Are we?
The audio should be back.
Can anyone in the stream confirm that they can hear us?
Yeah, I turned the audio off in the interim.
Yeah, it's when we stepped out looking for a match.
Yeah, I did mute it so that someone would not embarrass themselves by not realizing.
Sauce XO says that the audio is fine.
Excellent. Well,
Thank you, Sauce.
That's a saucy one.
So this is Game 3.
Yes, we are on Game 3 of their match. I know nothing more than that. But I can guarantee you this, watching these gentlemen play their Game 3 is going to be much more entertaining than listening to us talk about things. Well, there are actually several players that we don't usually get in the house, so to speak, tonight.
We're going to have that with a new record soon.
Including, I've referenced him many times on the stream, but he's never actually been here, one Zach Vilionko, who goes to law school and does not make it down from Morgantown that often, but he's in the building, and I believe he's playing a Door to Nothingness deck.
Ooh.
There's one guarantee about Zach's deck every time he plays, is that it will be the most fun. It may not be the most successful, but we'll see if he wins his round 1. I might sneak him under there. He used to play, at one point he played, he loved Soul Sisters, because Soul Sisters was both an infinite combo deck that was actually like tier 1.
Yeah.
So he played the heck out of that one. We used to have some epic battles with my mono red decks versus his infinite life gain decks. He's also played in the past a infinite combo with Croon Striker, and it was basically like a combo before rotation. It was basically like the old Relic Warder, Phyrexian Metamorph, and so he could either like generate infinite mana or he could generate infinite Croon Striker and attack. And then he's, of course, no one was happier with the reprinting of Battle of Wits than one Mr. Zach Vilionko. So the first week of FNM after that, he came with a giant stack of cards to battle with. So we'll see if we can get him under here.
Yeah, it looks like there's some Soul Sisters love in the chat.
We're getting some questions in the chat about why I randomly add people on Facebook. When people like the Facebook page, which we'll talk about later, I add them as a friend because I got nothing better to do. just adding whoever has shown interest in the page for future things. When we have other events and we do things like that, that's the way the functionality on Facebook works. Is you can invite people, but you have to invite friends. You can't just invite people that like the page. So I will take the risk and associate myself with various ne'er-do-wells on Facebook. As we see some action here, or lack of action. Both of these guys are playing. There he is.
You missed it.
We were just talking about you, Mr. Vilionko.
You missed it. I resolved Door to Nothingness game, or I resolved Primal Surge game 1 and flipped my whole deck onto the field.
You're playing Primal Surge?
Primal Surge.
Okay, here's what I'm going to ask you to do. Don't tell me any more, and then next round you're going to play under the camera. All right.
It worked. Here's the thing, though. It worked both games. So that means it has no chance of working on against someone who's any good.
Did you win? Did you win?
Oh yeah, 2-0.
Okay. Well, we'll give it a go here.
It was.
So we'll save it for the feature match.
Okay. I'm sure it's gonna be someone incredible, and it's gonna be like fail well.
That's the problem with winning, is you do play better players.
Yes,
so
that's what I said. You should have got me game 1. That's all right. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Sure.
A brewer proud of his brew.
Yeah. I've actually played against him a few times with Esper's. I remember playing against his Curses deck.
Yes.
Which the night that I played him in with that, he was 3-0. We were both 3-0.
His decks are not. I mean, he's a good player. It's he just likes to play fun decks.
I've lost complete track of what's going on in this game.
We saw, we're going to have to get him to move the live tracker because I can't keep track. We saw a Loxodon Smiter out of Billy and a Thalia out of Joe. The Thalia blocked and Silesian Charm pumped it, so it took out the Smiter. That was the combat trick.
I have lost a game to forgetting that Thalia has first strike. That is a personal pain that I lost live with.
Could you open that door real quick?
You want to go move their life counter?
I just have to. Hey, Gibbs. Brandon Gibbs. Back here. Can you move the life counter onto your mat somewhere?
Which way? Onto the mat?
Yeah. Anywhere is fine. That'll do. Thank you. Yep. High class. This is a Hollywood production value. That door didn't shut. It's got a bad class on it. All right. This is maybe the worst coverage ever for a Magic game. Now, what did he just cast there? Do you know what that was? That green card?
This one right here?
No, Joe cast a Centaur Healer, but Billy cast a green card. It looked like it just cycled. I don't know if that was something that draws a card and populates or something like that. But Restoration Angel quickly getting out of hand. This game may be over just as fast. 5 means Thrag Tusk, right? Oh no, even worse. Silverheart, this game is not long for this world. 7, 10, 12, drops Billy to 6.
Which one is the Silverheart paired to? The Centaur?
The Restoration Angel. From my many weeks of doing coverage, I have found that one thing most players are guilty of is not putting the soul-bonded creatures anywhere close to each other.
Touch them. Touch them or I'll be mad at you.
Stack them on top. And so we see the problem with the three-color deck. Not a blue mana source to be found. So, with 12 minutes to go, I will not go out there and try to scrape together another game, because that's just being greedy. But hopefully you enjoyed the round one there. It's a shame when no one wants to see anybody get hosed on mana to lose the game.
It looks like the card that we couldn't make out was Druid's Deliverance.
Druid's Deliverance. Well, that will remind me that I need to set up screen region so I can show cards here. But one thing as I try to do that and talk at the same time, one thing I will encourage everyone who's watching, which is just about 40 people right now, not our usual numbers, but I'm sure people will come as the night gets a little bit later. That's one thing I figured out, that it takes a certain amount of time for people to make their way to the stream. But one thing I will encourage everyone to do is, you'll notice, if anyone has watched before, we have a new graphics package here on the feature match area. It is not the plain text it used to be. I've taken the constructive feedback and done something a little bit more graphically satisfying. So I would love to know what you think. Is it good? Is it bad? How can I improve it? What was that card called?
Druid's Deliverance.
Druid's Deliverance.
It's the Fog Populate.
Oh, it's Fog Populate. Seems fine. There it is. Technology. So Fog Populate. Speaking of Fog, I know that there's at least one stream regular and local legend, as I announce him every time. Adam Vickers is in this room playing Turbo Fog tonight, so we got that. We've got. I'm going to switch back to the studio camera so you can see our lovely mugs, and then quickly go away. For those of you who've watched before, like I said, my name's Zach. This is Joseph and Ian, respectively. But if you go back and watch, I don't know, it's like maybe a month ago, the little room, the broom closet that we broadcast from, they filled the other half of it up with shelving. That they keep telling me that they're going to replace the shelving in the actual store with this. At this point, I think they're just like trolling me, and they're not actually going to do it. But
it's a lot of heavy shelving. I wouldn't be in any hurry to move it.
Yeah, it's so that's why we're all scrunched together here, because there's plenty of room. The room is like twice the size of what we have currently, but we have shelving in the way. So that's why we're all bunched together here. What was I talking about before? I lost my train of thought.
You were asking about your new streaming banners.
Yes, I was. So let us know what you think. It can't be worse. The old one were It has to be some degree better. It's just a matter of whether or not it's complete functional. If there's something else that you'd like to see, feel free to let us know. That's a good segue into my weekly, I think I go through this about 12 times a night, but we do not ask for any kind of financial compensation for this high, I would say probably world-class Magic action and commentary.
It is among the class of things in the world.
It is. Yes, it is something that exists, true to point. But what you can do to help us out, just to spread the word, is you can follow us on our various forms of social media. Subscribe to us at YouTube. Follow us on Twitter. Like us. We have a Facebook page, facebook.com/ZachSellsMagic. You can like the page. There's I don't know. I spend a certain amount of time putting content up there. It's not just solely a advertisement for the stream. There is content and links, and
if you want to talk with Zach about Magic, Facebook is the way to do it.
If you would like to get delicious recipes for soup and other things that people do on Facebook, I'm sure you can do that as well. One thing that we've talked about in the past that Noah's actually done is, like, I don't know, if you watch this stream for like several months, which some of you have, and you see like regulars that keep showing up, you can also go on Facebook on the page and get in touch with them. So if you like, a lot of people ask us about, they want to get deck lists for stuff. You can just, if you want Max Turner's deck list for his 4-color control deck, you can either ask me about it and I can try to get him to give it to you, or you can just go on Facebook, go to our page, find Max Turner, and ask him what it is. So
hot tech and new buddies.
Mm-hmm. And then also on Twitch. More importantly, if you're on Twitch right now, we appreciate you watching. But the one thing that can help us out a lot is right underneath the video screen there is a little gear button. If you click that and follow us, that will help. When you subscribe there, they'll send you an email notification anytime our stream goes live. So obviously we do Friday Night Magic every week, but if we do anything different, we've had cube drafts before, we've had state tournaments, Star City Games Invitational qualifiers, Legacy a couple weeks ago. So if you're interested in any of that, it'll send you an email, because that's not necessarily as planned as some of the other stuff is.
And if you have a mobile device, if you follow with your Twitch account, it'll alert your phone to when the stream goes live, which I find very useful.
Yeah, I've mentioned that before. That's something I do. Like every Tuesday night, there is a Legacy stream on Twitch, South Florida Magic. I watch it every week. I've posted on our Facebook page earlier this week a link to it because I enjoy it. It's something I consume a lot of Magic content myself, so that's a service I use. So if I'm just dicking around at the house and not doing anything on Tuesday, like Ian says, I'll get a email there on my phone that says you can go and watch, pop up the laptop, watch some Legacy while in the middle of watching Big Bang Theory reruns or whatever. So,
one thing you forgot to mention is your Reddit post.
Yeah, I don't really know how Reddit works. I didn't forget to mention that because I don't know what it is, really. I just know that former stream co-host Michael Taylor uses Reddit a lot. He says it's the front page of the internet, and that I should do it, so every time I do post on there...
so if you're a Reddit user, Zach has made a post the link to the stream in the Magic subreddit?
I believe it's called Upvote.
Yeah.
Go upvote it.
Upvote it.
Well, it can't hurt. It's certainly not going to hurt. More importantly than all of this nonsense, you know why you should follow me on Twitter and why you should go to our Facebook page? Because I'm going to give away free stuff. Every week we give away a play set of rock, paper, scissors cards. You may have seen Brett and Joseph use that to start their round one game. If you want your own play set of rock, paper, scissors cards, it's very simple. Just go to Twitter at ZachSellsMagic. There's a theme here. I don't know if you've noticed. All of my outlets of social media word Zach Sells Magic. All of that information streaming on this cleverly placed banner. You just every week we give them away. We make announcements, usually in the second round. So next round we'll put up a tweet. It'll say something to the effect of, "It's giveaway time. We're giving away this crap. You follow me, you retweet it, you get in a drawing." This week, 17 people, 17 runners for the Twitter giveaway. And then also we've been giving away last couple weeks a foil promo Restoration Angel, which is not an inconsequential dollar amount of cards. It's like $15 retail. It is free. Literally all you have to do is spend about 15 seconds and a couple mouse clicks. You go to our Facebook page, usually in round 3 or 4 after we do the Twitter one. We will post on our Facebook page about the giveaway. You just like the page. It's a two-parter, so you do have to navigate 2 steps. So you like the Facebook page, you either like or comment on the post, we put you in a drawing, and then next week we'll draw for that one. This week we'll be drawing for last week's giveaways. Like I said, 17 for Twitter, 20 for Facebook. So if you like free crap, and you like Magic cards, which I can say we're 100% on that in here.
I like Magic cards.
Mm-hmm. And the only thing better than the free Magic cards is free Magic cards you don't have to pay for. So we will be giving away those later on tonight. We have about 4 minutes left in the round. Gentlemen, I want to talk to you about something. Let's discuss Magic. Is there any way you can scoot over so that I feel like I'm floating?
Is this better?
I don't know. I keep looking at this. This is what I should do. I should do this. That way I'll be more inclined to actually look at the screen. So let's talk about something we have not talked about since it came out. But since we have 3 people in here, we have some differing. Joseph, I know you're very invested in the Modern. That's your format of choice, or that's where you'd like to put. You're more interested in Modern than anything else.
Yeah, I emptied all the Legacy cards pretty much out of my collection and buying into what I needed for Modern.
Modern. Ian, you participated in Grand Prix Columbus at the Modern GP.
I'm very excited about Modern.
Yeah. So knowing that I have you 2 in here and a captive audience, what do you think about the Modern Masters set? For those of you not familiar with Modern Masters, I'll put something up on the Facebook about this after the fact. In fact, I think I actually did last week when they spoiled it at the Pro Tour. The only card we know it's going to be in it for sure is Tarmogoyf, reprint of Tarmogoyf with different art, which is pretty monumental. That is a $100 card currently. But anyway, basically they are reprinting a lot of Modern staples, not just the big ticket cards, but a lot of the other secondary and tertiary cards, and they're designing it as a big set for next summer, and it's a draftable set. They're going to have a Grand Prix for it in Las Vegas. The retail price, I think, $6.99 per pack. No lands. There's a foil in every pack. It's a new thing they're trying out, basically, so that they can reprint some of the sacred cows. A reason that the reason they started Modern was because people were concerned about Legacy because it's such a high price point of entry. Although Modern is actually no different, honestly, if you think about it. It's very expensive. And that's because your tentpoles of that format, your Thoughtseize, your Vendilion Click, your Vidalcan Shackles, all those cards cost $20-$30 a piece. So this is their first go at reprinting some of those cards. And anytime you reprint a card that's worth more than about $5, there's there's some trepidation that goes into it.
I was curious about, I can't really understand the financial ramifications of the reprint. So that didn't interest me as much because I was like, I bet this will have little to no effect on the price of Tarmogoyf.
Yeah. There are varying schools of thought. Were you down there? I didn't mean to cut you off. There are varying schools of thought on how it's going to affect the price, and that's the main thing. And this is the way I always talk about Legacy, because I'm heavily invested in Legacy, not just in terms of the cards I own, but in terms of what I'm interested in Magic. Legacy is fun. I like to play Legacy. We're trying to start it here. We'd like to play more of that, but people don't want to play Legacy because it's expensive, and it is. It's inevitable. These cards are 20 years old. There's only so many of them. It's just supply and demand. I've always said that the difference people have, people's opinions on reprints are: if you own the cards, you don't want to see them reprinted. If you don't own the cards, you couldn't have enough reprints. So it's 2 very different schools. But even within the financial community, some people think it's not really going to affect the prices all that much because it is a limited run.
Yeah,
they're not producing at the same numbers as they would a normal set.
It's going to be a very
it's not going to be like the Commander's Arsenal, which we can talk about later too, which is 4 per store. Even Channel Fireball and Star City Games only got 4 copies.
I imagine it's going to be very hard, even to get access to these packs and the quantities.
Yeah. And like I said, they are $7 retail, so they're not. Wizards has identified that we can't sell these at bargain basement process. Because one thing you will do, and I don't think it's the majority of people, but there is a segment of people that if you reprint all their cards and their collection goes from, it loses 50% of its value, they'll quit playing Magic. They will. They'll rage quit the game. Yeah. Because you can't, no one's worried about the financial guys, the guys that are sitting on, 50 play sets of Tarmogoyfs because that's their investment plan. If you want to make money in life, you should put the money in the stock market, not in cardboard. But at the same time, I own a play set of Tarmogoyfs. I invested in them so I can play them in Legacy. I don't want to see them drop down to a $20 card. But there's some people who have a lot of money in cardboard.
But everything I've read in the Wizards press releases says that is one of their main concerns with this. This is like an experiment for them.
Yes, that's a very good point. That's exactly what they talk about. This is something that they've been thinking about for a long time. And obviously, to get a set of Magic cards printed up, in terms of your design, marketing, just the print run, we're talking years in development here.
And I don't know. I think also you can compare it to the reaction to reprinting Shocklands and Ravnica. I think that was almost like a universally positive response.
Yes,
people were very excited to get access to those cards again.
Mm-hmm. And I think the difference there between that and this is that, or at least right now, since it is kind of new, it's only a couple weeks since they've announced that, is that, number one, everyone knew the Shocklands were coming back.
Yeah.
Ever since they announced Modern, they
Yeah.
kind of figured that was going to come back. But number two, the Shocklands, while expensive, were not nearly as expensive. I mean, you could get Blood Crypts for $15. Hallowed Fountains were expensive, and they did shoot up because of all the speculation prior to Return to Ravnica, or prior to Modern being announced. But they were still...
But let's not skip over this.
Okay.
You can draft these packs.
Yes, it's a draftable format. So if you're not familiar with this, like I said, go to our Facebook page. We do have a link to that. They did announce it at the Pro Tour, like I said. I'll try to, after the fact, this is one thing I'm going to do. I think I'm going to start doing on the Facebook page, is doing it like a recap of all the things we talked about, just a post on there. So if you're looking for information on, in the past we've talked about artist Billy Tackett, who did the playmats that we saw on our Star City coverage. He does do customizable playmats, so you can go to his website. We have information on there. We have information about the new products. We have information about Lord knows what.
But I am so very excited
It will
about
be
drafting
very
Modern
excited to
Masters.
draft. It will be, and basically what they've said is they designed it so that you can draft Modern. Like you can draft a Dredge deck. You can draft a Fairies deck.
A Storm.
You can draft a Storm deck. And that, I'm very excited. I don't know how I feel about it from a financial standpoint, because like I don't know. I own a lot of Magic cards. I don't want them to... It's not like I'm trying to get rich off of them. That's one thing I'm definitely not trying to do. And a lot of people ask me, why does everything say Zach sells Magic? Because for a period of time, I was very actively buying and selling cards. And while I still do that somewhat, I never did it. I was always trying to break even on the game. Trying to basically get my Legacy collection for free is what my goal was. But at the same time, you don't want to see... You put money and time and investment into getting these cards. Nobody wants to see them completely devalued. So it'll be interesting to see how that sorts out. Most of the people I know whose opinion I trust on the financial aspect, they think there'll be an initial hit as things drop down, because people kind of panic and sell off, and then it will kind of go right back to where it is.
Well,
because they're not printing millions of these cards.
I think...
Are we going to round two?
Yeah. Can I talk for a second?
Yeah, we're going to pair up here. Okay, so... More importantly, as you see the floating torso of JB Roberts, we are going to round two, it appears. So we will continue this discussion after the next round, but for right now, stay tuned. We'll come back with another pairing.